Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon. It's good to be here with you all, to see the faces of people who are going to change the world. I'd like to start by congratulating my friend, Jeff, and Sally for doing such an amazing job. They are wise people, wise men and women. They recognize the power of the people in this room, the people to whom the future of the world belongs, and people who have a key role, as Jeff and I believe, to play in shaping the world and helping to meet most of mankind's needs. I was invited to share some thoughts or as inspiration to you or with you. And I reflected when I got the invitation what I could be saying to people who already have become entrepreneurs and aspiring to become more successful. I felt that the best way is to share a little of my own personal experience. They say experience is the best teacher. So I'd like to share a brief experience how we started a journey, as I believe some of you have started or in the process of starting. And this was I was 30 then, and I'm told the average age of people in this hall, 25. So you are even starting much earlier than I did. But I was originally a banker. I operated as a banker at a time the industry was expanding. At a time we had, in my country, Nigeria, over 100 banks. And I felt that there would come a time that the banks, or some of the banks, could become challenged. And there was a need to position ourselves to be able to take advantage of the opportunities that will unfold. And this came to pass. And when it happened, we were ready. We took advantage by investing and turning around at least one of the banks. We grew that bank from a near distressed floundering bank to become one of the five top banks in the country under a period of 10 years. And subsequently, we merged this bank with the third largest bank in the country, and we created the biggest bank in the country, with branches then of about 420. And from that bank, we grew that bank into a Pan-African bank that today has presence in 19 African countries, presence in the UK, presence in Paris, and presence in New York. We did this because of some, shall I say, attributes or factors I'd like to share with you. First is the power of foresight. You need to be able to see beyond today, because it is in trying to see beyond today that you create a unique business opportunity, an advantage. And if you're able, beyond seeing, to now actualize it by working hard, then it makes it a lot easier again. So first message by way of inspiration is that as entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs, we need to have the ability to see beyond today. We need to understand our environment and see what could be the future of the environment. Understanding that, being able to say this could happen, if you get it right, you would have created huge opportunities. But the second thing is purpose. So you dream without purpose, or a journey without purpose to a large extent is a waste of time. So you have a purpose beyond the foresight to say, okay, this is what we will do. So we saw that there would be opportunity in the banking industry at the time, and we said, when this opportunity, what would be the opportunity itself? There could be crisis, and the industry will need solution. And so let's groom and prepare ourselves to be the solution provider for the industry, hence the turnaround. So purpose, very important, to you. And the third thing is hard work. You can't have the foresight, the purpose, if you're not able to match that with hard work. It just will die like that. So we worked very hard. And again, as entrepreneurs, I need not tell you this. At times, there's no difference between your job, what you're trying to do or what you're doing, and your personal life. At this stage, it's almost always like that. And the next thing is beyond dreaming, or beyond the foresight, beyond the purpose, beyond the hard work, is to think long term. So we thought long term. We were thinking what will happen in 10 years, in 20 years. When we started, we did not define success in the short term. We defined success in the long term. To us, success was helping to democratize banking, helping to create financial access to people, a continent that didn't have huge or impressive financial access. So that long term continues to guide even what I do to date. And I believe for most successful business people, short-termism does not really help so much. So my word to you today is in everything you do, let's think beyond the immediate and think long-term. But as you think long-term, it's good to have quick wins or milestones, because the milestones keep you on focus. The milestones help you to understand whether or not you're on track. So it's good to have milestones within that long-term horizon that you're looking at. And next one is impact. So beyond the long-term perspective, you need to ask yourself, and I guess for social entrepreneurs, you understand this better than I do, what impact do I want to create here? Impact defined the way you like. So for us, when we started, the impact was, first, we wanted to democratize banking because having banking account was like a status symbol. And we needed to make this in a country then of today 171 million people, then we were about 120 million people. People who owned bank accounts were less than 5 million. We saw opportunity here, but we thought, we saw opportunity here, but we also saw it as a good cause to pursue, to help democratize banking. And it's on record that in some countries, when we decided to expand, we opened bank accounts with zero account balances because we wanted to create access. We wanted people to have access to bank accounts. We wanted to change lifestyle to a large extent. And the second impact, they're all related, is in Africa at the time, in my country, Nigeria at the time, if your child, Paul, was schooling in a particular state, you would have to physically go there to give Paul money, or Paul would have to come to you. So we needed to improve the payment system. We wanted to create ubiquity. We wanted people to have access to banking, to payments, without necessarily have to live in their offices. We deployed technology to achieve this. So for us, the impact we wanted to achieve was so important to us, and we realized that this impact, if we achieve it, it will help us. We will make more money, but would have touched society in very significant ways. Today, this bank has, as I said before, operations in 19 African countries, and we have customers at excess of 8 million. Nigeria alone at the time had bank customers that was less than 5 million. So to you, entrepreneurs, I'd like to commend and advise or propose or suggest what personally I have experienced in my previous life as a banker. But it didn't end there. This previous life has significantly influenced what I do today. I believe in a concept I shared with Jeff not too long ago, a concept of Afro-capitalism. Afro-capitalism is a call on the private sector in Africa to invest long-term, to play a key role in helping to develop the continent. For a long time, we've called on government, or everyone blames government for lack of development on the continent. But we, the private sector, also have a role to play. So Afro-capitalism is a call on the private sector to be involved in helping to develop the continent through what we know how to do as private sector people, that is investing. Through investment in long-term investments, again, bringing that long-term perspective that we had at the time, long-term investment in key sectors that can help to create both economic prosperity and social wealth. That is what I preach, and that is one of the reasons I'm here. I believe that the future of this world, to a large extent, is in the hands of the private sector. And the private sector is driven largely by entrepreneurs, yourselves, people who are in this room. 2 days ago, I was at the United Nations to talk further, discuss about the role of the private sector in the post-2015 MDG. I shared with the audience what I think the private sector should be doing and how private sector should engage with the public sector, the NGOs, to create a better society. It is true that people used to say that private sector is driven by other motives. But indeed, we see a convergence between what is good for private sector and what is good for everyone, for mankind. And so for yourselves as entrepreneurs, this belief in the ability of the private sector to help change the world is one you should own. It's one you should work towards. It's one we should, in every activity, every action of ours, we must demonstrate that in private sector, we're driven by values, and that today's private sector believes that you do not have to do well before you do good, that you can do well and do good simultaneously. I believe in this, and I have dedicated the second phase of my life to making sure that we create, my colleagues and I at the Tony Elumelu Foundation, that we continue to work to create more Tony Elumelus, more entrepreneurs out of Africa, and that we give all the support they need to succeed, and that we make sure that they can compete with entrepreneurs from other parts of the world. We'd like to see this kind of event hold in Africa with young entrepreneurs all over the place trying to conquer the world and to connect hands with yourselves. Soon, we shall be launching a certain initiative in this space of entrepreneurship to enable aspiring African entrepreneurs realize and fulfill their passion for success in this field. I'd like to end here, but to wish all of you greater successes and self-inspiration, not from me, self-inspiration, realizing that what we do in our respective lines of endeavors can help make the world a better place. Thank you very much.